The snow fell hard that winter, blanketing our quiet Rochester suburb in a silence that felt more like a warning than peace. I'm James Carter, 52, a widower raising my son, Nathan, alone. At 15, Nathan's a good kid, soft-spoken, with a heart bigger than his frame. Every winter, we grab our shovels and clear driveways for neighbors too old or frail to do it themselves. It's not about money, it's about showing up. But that January, something broke in our neighborhood, not just the ice, but the fragile trust we'd built. A woman named Linda Grayson arrived, and with her came a storm fiercer than any blizzard. Rochester winters are brutal, the kind that make your bones ache and your breath freeze midair. Nathan and I were out before dawn, shoveling for folks like Mrs. Hensley, whose arthritis keeps her housebound, or Mr. Daniels, who hasn't trusted his knees since '98. We've been doing this since Nathan was 10, a tradition that taught him grit and gave me pride. But when Linda rolled into our cul-de-sac in a gleaming black SUV, her high heels clicking on icy pavement and a clipboard clutched like a weapon, I felt the air shift. She didn't wave or smile. She surveyed our street like a landlord tallying debts. Her first move was flyers stiff, red-inked warnings taped to every mailbox. No minors permitted to provide snow removal services. HOA regulations will be enforced. I tore ours down, muttering to Nathan, who shows up to Rochester in stilettos. He smirked, but I saw unease in his eyes. The next day, Linda knocked uninvited, unapologetic. I'm Linda Grayson, she announced, as if her name carried weight. I'm here to ensure compliance with HOA standards. I leaned against the doorframe. Lady, if your standards involve scaring kids with shovels, we're not on the same page. She didn't blink. Unsupervised labor is a liability. This is about safety. Safety? Nathan was out there at 6 a.m., helping widows in sub-zero wind. Where was she last winter? Probably sipping lattes in some Connecticut suburb. Linda became a shadow over our street. She scolded Nathan for stepping on her lawn, snapped photos of us working like we were thieves, and glared from her porch like a hawk. Neighbors started to pull back. Mrs. Hensley stopped offering cocoa. Mr. Daniels avoided eye contact. Fear spread, quiet and cold, like frost on a windshield. I told Nathan, keep your head up. Bullies don't win. But the tension grew, heavy as the gray sky before a storm. The forecast hit like a gut punch, a lake-effect blizzard, 3 feet of snow, winds howling at 40 miles an hour. Rochester braced itself. Plows rumbled, and neighbors stocked up like it was the apocalypse. Linda doubled down, plastering yellow flyers everywhere. Solicitation of snow services by minors is prohibited. Violators will be reported. I ripped one off our mailbox, spotting her across the street, arms crossed, clipboard in hand. You don't stop, do you? I shouted. Her smile was sharp. You've been warned. I stepped closer. Tape your nonsense to my property again, and your clipboard's kindling. Nathan tugged my sleeve, eyes pleading for peace. But peace doesn't grow where fear takes root. The storm hit like a freight train, snow burying everything in white chaos. Nathan and I were out at dawn, clearing Mrs. Hensley's porch. Her steps were a death trap, drifts swallowing the railings. Nathan worked steady, his breath puffing in the cold. I was salting the walkway when I heard her voice sharp, venomous. Get off that property. Linda stood on Mrs. Hensley's porch, red coat blazing against the snow, gripping Nathan's jacket. Before I could move, she slapped him hard. His head snapped sideways. Then she shoved him, and he stumbled, crashing into the icy steps. Blood dripped from his lip, stark against the snow. I didn't think. I dropped the salt bucket and charged. Linda didn't see me coming. I tackled her into a snowbank, her scream cut short by powder. She flailed, but I pinned her, rage pounding through me. You hit my son? I roared, yanking her up and slamming her against the icy wall of snow. Her clipboard skittered across the driveway. You think rules protect you? She gasped. You're insane. I shoved her face first into the snow, my knee in her back. Here's a rule. Touch my blood again, and you're done. I let her up, but not before grabbing her clipboard and snapping it over my knee. Nathan pulled at my arm. Dad, stop. But I wasn't done. I poured rock salt over the spot where Nathan's blood stained the snow, a message she'd never forget. Neighbors watched from windows, silent. Linda scrambled up, mascara streaking, blood on her lip. For once, she looked small. I'm calling the police, she spat. I leaned in, voice low. Next time, don't pick a fight with a father. I walked Nathan home, his cheeks swelling, his eyes wet but steady. I was just helping, Dad, he whispered. She said I was ruining her steps. My chest burned. This wasn't about rules anymore. This was war. The cops arrived 20 minutes later, lights flashing against the ice. Linda played the victim, tears, shaky voice, pointing at me like I was a monster. He attacked me, she cried. I stayed calm, handing the officer my phone. Watch this. Mrs. Hensley's Ring camera had caught everything. Linda's slap, her shove, Nathan's fall, my retaliation. The officer's face hardened as the video played. He turned to Linda. Ma'am, you struck a minor. Be careful what you push for. She froze, then stormed inside without a word. But Linda didn't quit. She sent anonymous letters, calling me a threat, Nathan unstable, hinting at certain types of families. The dog whistle was clear, but it backfired. I uploaded the Ring footage to our neighborhood group. No caption, just truth. It spread like wildfire. Comments poured in. She hit him first. Karen's the danger. Someone looped the clip on the HOA board outside her office, subtitles blazing. Linda stormed out, screaming about defamation, but no one cared. Her control was crumbling. The HOA meeting was electric. Every chair was filled, neighbors spilling into the aisles. Linda strode in, new clipboard in hand. But her confidence cracked when she saw the crowd. The president, Mrs. Larson, opened the floor. Linda launched into a tirade about harassment and false accusations. I didn't speak. I didn't need to. A board member, Tom, stood, holding Linda's broken clipboard. This ends now, he said, slamming it down. The room erupted. Mrs. Larson called a vote to remove Linda from all HOA roles. Every hand shot up except hers. She stared at me, venom in her eyes. This isn't justice, she hissed. I met her gaze. No, it's consequence. Spring came slowly, the snow melting into slush. Linda's house went dark, curtains drawn, her SUV gone. The neighborhood exhaled. Neighbors smiled again, offered cocoa, left notes of thanks. Nathan walked taller, his bruises faded, his laugh real again. One evening, I found a note on our door from Mrs. Hensley. Thank you for standing up. I was too scared to. That was healing, not loud, but steady, like ice thawing. Linda never returned. Her house sold by summer, the new owners quiet and kind. The snowman on her lawn, clipboard snapped in its arms, stood until the last frost. No one claimed it. No one tore it down. Nathan and I kept shoveling, even as the snow faded. One day he asked, will she come back? I shook my head. People like her don't come back. They wait. But we're ready. He nodded, and I saw something new in him, strength, not just from me, but from knowing the street had his back. That winter taught me justice isn't always a courtroom. Sometimes it's a father's rage, a camera's truth, a community's spine. Linda wanted power, but she got exposure. And in the end, it wasn't my fists that broke her. It was the truth, cold and unforgiving as the snow. What do you think? Have you ever faced someone like Linda, hiding behind rules to hurt others? Share your thoughts below. Do you think violence was justified, or should justice always stay civil? Drop, protect, in the comments if you've stood up for someone you love, and let's hear your stand. Like and subscribe for more stories that cut through the noise, because here, we don't just tell tales, we shovel truth.